Hi there, welcome to my channel. My name is Crystal and this is Books Forever After, where I sit on my floor and we talk about everything and all things books. Alright, so let's get started. Today, as you can tell by the title, we're discovering books that I have my favorite books before Booktube. So I already did a part one for my favorite books of historical romances, and today we're going to do contemporary romances, and I think the final installment will be young adult fantasy. So, all right, let's do this. So, pre-warning, just pre-warning. Some of these I don't know exactly the plot or the summary or what has been involved in the book. It has been, I read these years and years ago before Booktube, so I had like a 8-year hiatus, and so I just rediscovered books about a year and a half, 2 years ago, basically about during the pandemic, just as everyone else. And so I'm just discovering some old faves and some new faves and being reunited with books that I read years ago. So these ones I have owned for quite a while, most of these, and I reread them several times. Some of these I've only read once or twice and I love them, and it's been a while. Okay, so the first one is no surprise. Obviously, I'm probably dating myself because I read these in college and it was all the rage, I think, right before the first movie came out, or was going to come out, or I think, or I believe this is when the books really just got really, really popular. And those are the 50 Shades of Grey books. So I have owned them that long. So we have the 50 Shades of Grey, 50 Shades of Darker, and 50 Shades Freed. As we all know, these books, the movie is based off these books. And I actually loved the books. I think it's because it was really my first contemporary romance that was steamy and spicy. Because typically in a contemporary I was reading before, as you'll see, this is the only really spicy one, I think, for the most part, was pretty just rom-com light romances with, if there was some spice, it was maybe a 1 or 2 kind of spice. There wasn't really any open door scenes. So yeah, I think this just speaks for itself. If you haven't heard of these, I would be shocked. So yeah. I think I do have to say now, like, the critique that some of the call outs in this book, and obviously this is not a great representation of the BDSM lifestyle, as we have, as we have talked about during the booktube community, but I do agree that the goddess kind of, her inner goddess kind of comments in here were a bit repetitive and a bit, I don't know, out of place. But yeah, but other than that, they still liked it, and I think it was my first introduction to a billionaire romance, obviously, and just a very not aggressive, but just a very dominant man in here. So yeah. Next is not really any particular book per se, but really just an author. So Make Habit. So I would talk about in my young adult versions of her books that I first got introduced, but then I also got introduced to her contemporary romances. So if you haven't read Make Habit, you need to. She's typically known for her Princess Diary series, which is, young adult, but she actually has some really, I think, really great rom-com. My favorite from her, I think, is Size 12 Is Not Fat, and I think that was also because it was in the discovery phase of more women empowerment, especially with the fat shaming kind of being recognized around that time period, which I think is like the probably 2010s and such. But in particular, I did really enjoy Queen of Babel. I think this is like the second or third installment. The first one is just called Queen of Babel. And then this one is, I think this is like the third or fourth installment as well. The Boy is Back. Both of these I just got recently at a library book sale. I'm trying to collect the rest of these. I did enjoy these. At first I thought it was Queen of Babel, but actually I was looking through here and it was actually this one, the boy series. So I think majority of all of this is text and dialogue. Kind of show. It's all like emails and text, and it's, I think, very few actual like dialogue, which is, yeah, everything is like articles and newspapers and communication, which it really speaks to my favorite kind of thing about romance is the banter. And so this like fulfills it to the max. If you love banter and communication and just angst driven by communication, it's just like your modern day like falling in love with letters and things and such. So I really liked the series. I can't tell you anything about the plot, but that is just the most thing that has or really anything about the blurb, but that is what really sticks out to me and I remember loving about this these books. So yeah, definitely looking forward to trying to reread these, and especially reread some of the rom-coms by Meg Cabot. And next, that kind of follows in that same vein, is first, for some reason I thought it was a different author in one of my other videos that I think I mentioned this, but it is Apocalyptic by Sue Margolis, or Margolis. I'm probably saying that wrong. This one is also kind of like a workplace romance between a boss and an employee, I'm pretty sure. It's a lot of what you would call, what they used to call before considered chick lit, which I think is not really fair. It's just a rom-com with some romance, because it was lighter in that, and there's really no spice in here, so I believe so. But I still had a good time. There's a lot of, you know, back and forth banter. So as you can tell, there's a running theme. I like my rom-coms if I like a little bit of the banter, back and forth, some pining, that kind of a thing. Especially if there's no spice. So one of my favorite tropes there. All right, so that is all the Meg Cabot that I read. I have definitely read a lot of her young adults as well. I have not read, surprisingly, the Princess Diary series, but there you go. And I think now it's a little too late. It's probably a little too young for me now to really enjoy. And finally, I have 5 books here, but 4 of them are part of a series, and then 1 more book by the same author, Nora Roberts. So I know Nora Roberts has been getting some more attention lately, at least I have been seeing, and maybe it's just wish fulfillment because I love her. But so it's kind of confusing because Nora Roberts writes from a lot of different genres. She's really writing a lot more recently, past several years, I want to say. More romance suspense or romantic suspense. So, and it's kind of hard to know if that's what she's, you know, writing, because a lot of her books are issued in mass paperback as well. But yeah, she writes in romantic suspense, which I see a trend there. If they do write historical romance, they also shift to that as well. But she has some historical romance as well. I don't think as many. I know she's really popular with the McClana? I'm totally wrong with that. I'm pretty sure. But she has like a found family kind of Highland historical romance, I believe, series that she's popular for. And I actually think Rebellion is a standalone of hers as a historical romance that I just picked up, and I don't know where I put it. But let me see here. Either way, anyway. And I believe the Historical Romance Hellions book club on Instagram and here on Booktube, which is run by Peace Love Books and Books with Samantha. And I think they recently read that for the month of November, if I'm mistaken. and I think everybody enjoyed it. So I missed out on that book club, that light book club, but yeah, so she's known for historical romances and such, but she's also known for contemporary romances, and there's a reason why so many people love. She also has fantasy romance as well, so she kind of runs the gamut in romance kind of genres and leagues those big four, that three or four, whichever. And my favorite contemporary romance by her, which I actually think I purchased this at like a Walmart a long time ago, but this is the Bride Quartet series. So what I love about this is this follows four best friends that were friends since childhood. And what is really cool is when they were little girls, they dressed up and had a fake wedding. And one of the girls married, I think her name is Parker, and one of them married her brother Parker in that little cute little wedding reenactment. And thus that kind of launched their love of weddings. And so each one of these women play a role in their small business that they own. So they own like a wedding business, I forget what they're called, a wedding planning business. So Vision in White follows the forget her name, follows Mac, and she is a photographer. And as you can see, here's a lovely, I love this edition. And what is really cool is, you know, they have Nora Roberts, the author, behind here, but it's not a traditional paperback that you normally would see. It has kind of like its own like bookend, like dust jacket kind of insert almost. It's really, really cool. So I like these kind of paperbacks. I think these are cool. Just a sidetrack note. And then we have book 2, which is Bed of Roses, which, as you can tell, is the florist of the group, which is, my memory serves, which does not serve me, which follows Emma. It would be helpful if I told you who, at least a little bit of the synopsis, right? So this one is Mac and then Carter. And Carter is an English teacher at the high school where she lives. So there you go, it's cool there. And then Bed of Roses, which follows Emma. Also, it's between Jack Cook, and this is a brother, best friend's brother's best friend. Can anyone follow that one? So Parker, her best friend, so Emma Parker. totally can't even get this right. So Emma is Parker's best friend. She's the girl, you know, doing the florist. She's a florist, and I'm so botching this. She's the florist, and this is between her and Parker's brother's best friend. So I don't know. That seems very complicated in a very tiny group, but there you go. So yeah. Oh goodness. Okay, so, and then the third one is a Savor the Moment, which, as you can tell, is the baker, the cake person. I cannot get this right, but it with, you know, the baker. Yes, the baker, the wedding. She makes wedding cakes. There you go. And this follows, because I'm cheating here, so right here, Laurel and Delaney, which is Parker's older brother. Wow, I forgot how complicated this is. Is that really Parker's? Okay. So Laurel had a big crush on Parker's older brother since childhood. So yeah, so now this one is Parker's older brother. So best friend's brother. and this one. So it's getting all the tropes. So yeah. Oh, and I totally blanked, but their wedding business is called Vows. So that's really, I thought it was cute. And then finally we reach Parker's book, and Parker is like the actual like the wedding planner. And this follows between her and the local friend of the guys. He actually is a mechanic, so mechanic there. This is kind of like, I want to say, not Grumpy Sunshine, because I think they're kind of both kind of grumpy. She's really obviously very type A, being a wedding planner, and he's kind of quiet and goose. So I don't know. I'm thinking I'm reaching there. But this is between Malcolm. So yeah, he's a motorcycle riding, raven-haired Mal. There you go. So yeah, highly recommend these. Are 5 stars. I need to definitely reread these sometime in the future because I have really enjoyed these. And as you can tell, the dress, I'm like, oh, these are just so pretty. So there you have it. All right, and then finally, just like an honorable mention, it's been years. I've read this, I think, twice, and I was looking for like a ballet romance, and then someone commented on one of the videos, I think a live video that I was watching. I think it was being hosted by Peaceful Books, and then I think it was like a Sprints or something, and the details don't matter here. But this is like kind of like a short story. I don't know, it's like 2 books in one. It's called Reflections and Dance of Dreams. And they both kind of follow ballerinas. So the first one, Reflections, it says between Lindsay and Seth. Seth is an architect, and he's the guardian of a talented young ballerina in Lindsay's class. So there we go. Single dad. Pretty sure. Kind of a single dad trope. There we go. And then Dance of Dreams follows a prima ballerina, Ruth. And this is between her mentor, Nikolai Davidov. I'm totally butchering that. He's probably Russian. And they are partnered in a sensual new ballet, and they must fight hard to control the rising attraction between them. In the end, though, it is up to Ruth to teach the guardian Nikolai the tender dance of love. So there you have it. So yeah, I think those Nora Roberts ones, I think there might be some steam, some spice. If there is, it's probably like a 1 or 2. But I think the Bride Quartet, I think that has a little bit of I would say probably 2 is my guess on the chili spice scale. So all right. There you have it. Please like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you don't miss another post. And I will link below the video that I did just regarding my favorite historical romances before Booktube. And when I finally do the other one for young adult, I'll also come back and link that one as well. So thank you for watching. If you have read these books, let me know if any of these were your favorites, and let me know down in the comments if you have any favorite contemporary romances before Booktube as well. All right, so thank you. Have a good day.